Hello, everybody. Hello, and welcome to this week's Goddess Energy Forecast. So, of course, if you're new to me, my name is Abigail Mensah-Bonsu. I am a quantum intuitive goddess coach and a multidimensional healer, as well as a divine feminine activator. And so every week I pop on and I record the energy forecast for the week, and also provide, provide your own a message that will guide you through the week, as well as a meditation too. And so I really enjoy doing this. If you're new to me, welcome. If you've been following me, thank you so much for supporting my work and supporting this channel and this forecast. So as always, I'm going to start by talking about what kind of energy we're swimming in this week. And then I'm going to dive into the messages, and then we'll end with a meditation. So let's go ahead and begin. This week's energy, there's a lot of fire going on. Fiery energy, anger, passion, rage, fear, anxiety. A lot of that going on. There's also, not to forget that we have four planets in retrograde. We have Saturn, Pluto, Venus, and there's another planet. I don't know why it's escaping me. But yeah, 4 planets in retrograde, all helping us to, giving us the boost that we need to really create the change and break down the systems that no longer work. That's like the best way to explain it with all the energies going on. At the same time, I call it righteous anger. Now, of course, some people are just in the lower vibration, lower density, coming from that place in terms of the anger. The majority of the people I notice are coming from that righteous anger, which means it's a type of fire that actually transmutes and creates changes for the better good of all humanity. So the question that I invite you to ask, if you are if you're one of those who are in that righteous anger, is what I'm doing, the steps that I'm taking, is it creating something better, or is it making things worse? If it is if there's a lot of people from that dense place, I want to talk more about this, where it's coming from that place of hurt, pain, trauma. And it doesn't have to be just this lifetime of what they're experiencing. Actually, this has been going on. This is like a lineage thing, ancestral thing that has been playing over and over. And that's why we have this transformative fire to finally stop that cycle of pain, of hurt, of injustice, of anxiety, of pain. Pain just keeps coming in. A lot of people are in pain at this time. A lot of people are grieving. That fire, that righteous anger, that righteous fire is coming in to stop that cycle so that we can finally build the type of world that we want to experience, and we want the generations coming to experience. We want our children to experience. We want our grandchildren to experience. So we have the ability to transmute and transform that which no longer works. And with 2020's energy of that clear vision, what doesn't work, we have the ability to see clearly what doesn't work. Like it is being shown to us so that we can break it down and rebuild, or break it down and build something completely different that actually works for all of humanity and also Mama Earth. So I see, this is the next step, the calling that is coming up for all of us to step into our purpose. Now, I feel like there's like a two-way thing going on here, where, a lot of people are feeling or have heard the call, and feeling the urge to step up, to do something. And there are those that are still fighting it, and it's okay. There's no right or wrong way. It's all about divine timing. So if you hear the call and, you go for it, keep going. But if someone is taking their time or is kind of fighting it, or don't judge them. It's not time yet. When that time comes, they will feel it clearly and they will step up powerfully. All you can do is hold space for them. We need to let go of the judgment. And I've seen a lot of this, especially with the protesting and the Black Lives Matter, and we get the people that are trying to support a community that is in so much pain. And I've seen people actually attack them because they're not from that community, or they didn't say things the right way. We need to let go of the judgment. We need to let go of how we think we know what other people's lives are, or what kind of lives they've lived. How do you know? How can you judge someone from just seeing them, or from just your color, your skin color? We have to open up a safe space for people to feel safe and secure, to share their voice with respect and love. And if they're sharing from a place that, this is how I see it, they're sharing from a place that they know of. And if you have something to educate them, then find a way to educate them also in love and respect. It doesn't have to be fiery. It doesn't have to be insulting. It doesn't have to be chaotic. But both parties need to be accepting and open to hear each other out from a place of love, unconditional love, and a place of non-judgment. It's very important. After all this fight, all this protesting that we're doing, at the end is for the benefit of all humans. It's for the benefit of the younger generations coming up. It goes way beyond us, right? You have to begin to see the impact that the choices you're making will have on the future generation. The future generations, or the younger generations, are actually watching. They're watching the fight, the good fight. They're watching people step into their power. They're watching people speak up, have their voices activated. Even though they might be anxious or afraid, they're still speaking up for the benefit, for the good of all. They're watching. So you might think that you're doing this peaceful protest, perhaps for just you or your community. But I promise you, it is vibrating much further than you can imagine. The blessings that are literally spreading from that, touching each younger generation's heart, letting them know that they can stand up fiercely, respectfully, and in love and create change without chaos. At least that's what I'm hoping that we're teaching our younger generation. You can create major change without distraction, destroying things, hurting others. And they're seeing this. So at least it is my hope that the younger generation is learning how to fight the good fight with righteous anger, righteous fire, from a place of respecting each other's where their journey came from, allowing the differences to show and respecting the differences. I hope that the younger future generation can understand and see the importance of all different types of backgrounds coming together for one purpose. That's a point that I asked. This is like an invitation question that I asked, and is, what am I fighting for? What am I fighting for? When things get fiery, you can easily be consumed by that fire. Easily. Fire is so powerful. I mean, water is powerful too. Fire can spread so easily. And it can either destroy or awaken. Actually, it does both, death and rebirth, right? We can use fire to either intentionally destroy or intentionally recreate. So I want you to ask yourself this question as we're all asking for this change. What am I fighting for? And from that place, step into your power and create that change. You can create that change. And this is my next thing too. Not everybody was created to be at the forefront of the fight. There are those who, that is their job, that is their sole purpose, to be at the forefront doing the peaceful protesting. And there are those who are almost like supporting those in front. This could be through like healing them or sending them source energy, activating them, helping them ground that fury so that it doesn't, consume or get misdirected. And even behind that, there might be, more where people who are working more with the spiritual realm. So they're creating the change in the spiritual realm. And then there are those who are the visionaries who are receiving that spiritual picture, I should say, spiritual vision, and anchoring it into the physical, dreaming it into being. The visionaries and the dreamers. There are those who are physically, with their physical body, anchoring what is above into below. So here's the thing. Just because you're not at the forefront protesting or asking for the change physically, doesn't mean you're not doing anything. One thing I'm going to say is don't let anybody shame you in your work. Don't let anybody try to shut that righteous voice down, that voice that the divine has blessed you with. There's so much, there's a reason why your throat, many, many people's voices are being activated right now. And who are you to say that your voice is not righteous, that the words that are wanting to come out of you are not what is needed? But one thing I want to say is don't let anybody shut you down, anybody shame you, or anybody let you feel that because you're not doing what others are doing, that you're doing something wrong. You need to anchor within your body. You need to connect to your womb. You need to connect to that inner power. Work with your higher self and ask, how do I serve at this time? How do I contribute at this time? How do I make a bigger impact at this time? And I promise you, your way will show up. I'm saying your way because we all have a role to play in this transformation that is going on, in this major change that is going on. So much blessings to you. I can go on and on. There's so much pouring in with that, but I'm just going to leave that for this week. I'm sure more will come in next week to support you. So let's just go ahead and dive into the messages for this week. If you haven't done this yet, go ahead and close your eyes, taking a deep breath in and out. You're going to call in your higher self to come in within you now. You're going to call in your Holy Spirit self to also come in within you now, as both wisdoms are joined and activated within you. And go ahead and ask which of these messages are specifically and uniquely for me to guide me this week. 1, 2, or 3. And once you have received the number, and you can see like this pillar of light coming down through the top of your head all the way into your heart. And within your heart, the number will show up. Once you have received that number, allow that pillar of light to continue down into Mother Earth and let it anchor into Mother Earth. And this could look like your roots going into Mother Earth and like wrapping around a rock or a mountain, or connecting to like another big tree at the center of the earth. However way, or it could look like you dropping an anchor into the middle of the earth. Feel yourself grounded. And from this place of knowing and certainty, receive your number. And once you receive it, open your eyes. Beautiful. So this week, of course, we have the dragons coming in too. So far, I feel like so far as we're in this powerful time, the dragons are going to be coming out. Because here's the thing. We are fighting a global, it's almost like a global change. We are fighting for a global change. And but it really begins within us. It really begins within us, and then it moves into, the change that we want to create with our family, and then it moves into our community, then it moves into our state, then it moves into our country, then it moves into the world, and then it just vibrates from then on. But it begins with us. So all this, the dragons coming in, really coming in so that we can, we're seeing what needs to be changed within us. And then we're given the tools on how to change it. And that's why the dragons are here. It's like, hey, this gnarly stuff that has been passed on from generations and generations and is deep within me is finally coming up. I am scared. I don't know what to do with it. The dragons are like, I am here. What do you need? Let's burn away this cycle so that it no longer plays again. So that the future generation or the younger generations don't have to replay this again. It ends now. So this week's dragons are, now if you don't know yet, I love dragons. I love my dragons. My dragon is a badass. And my dragon is actually part of my light body. My dragon becomes a golden light body that I wear. And it's a technology, it's a higher self technology that we all have access to. And I've talked about this before. So you get to walk this week, you get a mentor, a goddess mentor, as well as a dragon that you get to work with, or who's going to be working with you, I should say. So you're going to get a message from both of them and how you can work with that dragon this week. So let's go ahead and begin. So card number 1, we have Rabia, the divine feminine Rabia. And that's your mentor. And the dragon that you're going to be working with is the deep blue dragon. And I'll talk more about all of this. But for now, I'm just going to introduce them to you. So we have the divine feminine Rabia and then the deep blue dragon, if you chose card number 1 for this week. Card number 2, the divine feminine presence you're going to be working with is the Perpetua. I believe she is a saint. Perpetua. Saint Perpetua. And the dragon you're going to be working with for this week is the blue dragon from the Pleiades. Look at how beautiful this dragon is. Ugh. The blue dragon from the Pleiades. And that's for card number 2 if you're drawn to card number 2. Card number 3, if you're drawn to card number 3, the divine feminine presence who's going to be mentoring you this week is Zhou Xuanjing. Zhou Xuanjing. Isn't she gorgeous? And then the dragon that you're going to be working with is the lilac fire dragon. A lilac fire dragon. Now, if you notice, they all have almost like the violet flame frequency color. You know, like they're in the blue spectrum. And when I kind of put all of them side to side, the thing that came in is like the violet flame. And it makes a lot of sense because I've been working with a violet silver flame for like the past week. And it's been so potent. And if you don't know what the violet flame is a tool, a technology from beloved Saint Germain, an ascended master, that he gave to us so that we can use it to transmute the darker densities. It is a badass tool. If you have not tried a violet flame invocation, you got to try that. Okay, so, and I noticed all the dragons had that hue in there. So, and it makes a lot of sense because the dragons, and I talked about this maybe last week or it might be last week, where the dragons are between us as humanity, you know, in terms of frequency, right? The denseness of it. So we have humanity, we have the dragons, and we have the angels. It's hard for the angels to drop down, you know, all the way to that dense energy that we live in. But the dragons can. The dragons can weave in and out. So the dragons work with the archangels and the angels to really help us to release these dense energies. It's such a powerful collaboration going on here, right? So each of those dragons, although the archangels are not showing there, they work with an archangel too. So you're getting an extra bonus on the side there. And then of course, so you get the divine feminine presence coming in. So if you, let's see here, let's just go ahead and start. Let's go ahead and start. All right, so if you're drawn to card number 1, remember the divine feminine presence who's working with you this week or mentoring you this week is Rabia right here. She's gorgeous. And she represents a rare, pure love that doesn't seek anything other than simply to love. And here's her message to you, if you were drawn to card number 1. In her lifetime, Rabia embodied a freedom that divine love offers us. If we see her life as a metaphor of the soul's progression, she went from slavery to sainthood by devoting herself to Allah, or the divine, or God, you know, another name for God. Her only concern was the love that she could give to God. Her every action was motivated by her devotion to God. And through it, she received the greatest spiritual gift, self-realization. This is part of our ascension. This is part of our activation to reach a point where we also have that self-realization. Although it can be very difficult, loving without expectations is a profound spiritual practice. More often, our love for someone is loaded with ideas of who that person needs to be for us. But divine love is unconditional. It's a love that seeks only to love. No hidden agendas, no strings attached. Rabia relates in one of her poems, prayer should bring us to an altar where no walls or names exist. I'm going to repeat this again. Prayer should bring us to an altar where no walls or names exist. Each time we're able to love someone or ourselves without conditions to that love, we arrive at this altar within us. We free them in ourselves. We remember what Rabia knew so well, that to love just for the sake of loving lets the divine act through us. Beautiful message, right? And I think this is perfect as we continue to fight for the changes that we want to experience in this world, not just for us, but for our community, for our future generation, for the world. It's important for us to begin to do this from this place that she's talking about. Loving for the sake of love. Loving regardless of our skin color, of our experiences, of where we came from in the world. It was so beautiful to see the other peaceful protesters being shown from all around the world. You know, someone from all the way in France fighting for something that happened here in the US. Now that is love. Love moves you to do the righteous fighting. This is what she's talking about. And I love that she's bringing in the prayer. Really stepping into prayer, using prayer to ask for, there's a two-part here that I hope everybody begins to do. As you're fighting, you're asking for the change in the world. The second part is make sure that you are asking for that change from divine, using the power of prayer. Divine, this is what I want to experience in the world. Divine, this is what I want my child to experience in the world. I want my child to grow up in a world where he feels free to speak. He's supported regardless of his skin color or where he's from or what experiences he's had. That he is respected, that he feels safe and secure, that he has equal opportunity as everyone. That is my dream for humanity, divine. You need to awaken that. That's to do with both. As above, so below. As you're doing the work in the physical, make sure you're also doing the work in the spiritual. So here's the dragon again. So the deep blue dragon coming in with Rabia to work with you this week. And this deep blue dragon is actually coming in to keep you safe by clearing your path. And so this is how you can work with a deep blue dragon. You can actually, and it kind of reminds me of like the midnight dragon from How to Train a Dragon. I think that's what it's called, right? And you can see this beautiful big dragon, like you're walking and you have this dragon, like translucent energy around you, like big translucent energy around you. And as you're walking, it's like you're in the midst of the dragon and you're walking with the dragon, and the dragon is blowing that fire and clearing your anything that might harm you, anything that might cut you down, anything that might be trying to shut your voice down, anything that might be trying to cause you harm or your family harm. It's using its sacred flames to burn all of that away and clearing your path for you. You can also see the dragon actually in front of you, to the back of you, to the right of you, and to the left of you. You're walking with these dragons, powerful big dragons, and they're clearing the path for you in all directions. Powerful stuff right there. So this is the message from the dragon. Trust that you are protected. Walk on a path of light. Trust that you are protected. walk on the path of light. Now, if you're walking with this dragon, or if you're walking with any of your cosmic dragons, you know you're safe. If that dragon was physical, no one will be coming near you to do anything harmful to you. You would know that you are safe. So trust me, just because you can't see these dragons doesn't mean that their presence are not there. If you don't believe me, try walking with them energetically, like envision them walking in front of you, behind you, to the right of you, to the left of you, or envision them kind of like you're walking underneath them and they're protecting you with your wings. Oof. And see what happens. All right. So that was card number 1. If you're drawn to card number 2, the divine feminine presence that came up is Saint Perpetua, right here. Saint Perpetua. And she shows up as the power of authenticity. So you know what you're going to be mentoring through. It's all about how you can be even more authentic this week. So here is her message for you. When we find the courage to be true to who we are, a vitality returns to us, a voice that's both moving and compelling simply because it's authentic. Saint Perpetua's words in her very personal and emotional diary were so impactful that 200 years later, the renowned church Father Augustine would write about their beauty and truth. Saint Perpetua suggests that there is no greater power than choosing to remain our authentic self in all circumstances. She's the person who remained loyal to her soul, and she urges us through her example to embrace the power of being authentic now. Even in the face of death, she courageously held fast to her truth, that she was Christian. Her right hand reveals the Christ mudra. I love this mudra. You know, before I saw this, or before I even read this, in my meditation, I found that my hand began doing that. And the image that kept coming in is Mother Mary holding Jesus, baby Jesus. And she had that same thing. Isn't it fascinating? Right? This very powerful mudra. She also reminds us that journal writing can be a sacred act of returning to ourselves, of listening to the soul voice inside, and of going inward to our own answers. Perpetua is a call to a journal writing practice. Even if it's just to record our dreams each morning, the inner voice that greets us as we write strengthens our authenticity. That voice becomes a light, a fire that calls us and claims us as we dare to live out its truth. You know, it's very interesting. I love journaling. That's like my way of emptying my mind, creating peace within my mind. I just love it. It brings such peace into my heart, right? And since I gave birth to my son, it's been very hard to find time to actually sit and write. And lately, I really have been making myself, even if I could just write a paragraph, or if I could just write a mantra or a quote, something down, it still quenches that, right? Before, I could sit there for an hour writing, right, without stopping. It just is my thing. And now it's like, I have to find a different way to journal because of what it brings to me. So if you were drawn to card number 2, you're being invited to, if you're not a journaler, to try it out and see. Use it as a form of getting in touch with your sacred voice, especially if you're not used to that sacred voice, that inner voice. Use that as a way. There's a practice that came in. So for example, working with your higher self, you know, at the top of your page, you know, find an empty page. At the top of your page, write your answer, your question to your higher self. So higher self, how do I do this? And then underneath it, begin to write as if you're your higher self and see what happens. Make sure that you're out of your mind. make sure that you're connected to your heart. So perhaps you can close your eyes and drop, I always see like a ball of light from the mind, drop it into the heart. And then from there, begin to write that. You'll be amazed what comes up. That would be a great exercise for you. And if you're someone who, journals, but lately haven't had time to journal, this is also an invitation for you to find a way to do that. It doesn't have to be before. For example, me, it doesn't have to be sitting there for an hour journaling. It could be just writing down a mantra or having my book next to me. So every time something comes up, immediately I write it down, right? So that is the message from the Divine Feminine Mentor for you this week for card number 2. And the dragon that you're working with this week is the blue dragons from the Pleiades. They're gorgeous. Oh. And this dragon actually is here to prepare you to accept source healing. So you can kind of see the dragon holding that source ball of light with I see sacred geometry, but it's flowers it's a flower with the sacred geometry through it. And you're going to be receiving this ball of light, right? And so this is the message for you. Accept a heart activation. Give and receive heart healing. Oh, accept a heart activation. Give and receive heart healing. So if you're drawn to card number 2, you are definitely, there's an activation, like a healing modality being activated within you. And you are being asked to actually share this with others, right? And it makes sense. We're in a time where really being in the heart is very important. And if you can help activate as many people into their hearts, help them ground into their hearts, become familiar with your hearts again, and operate from that place of the higher heart, is going to benefit all of us. So if you're drawn to card number 2, these are your messages. Now let's go ahead and hop on to card number 3. If you're drawn to card number 3, you are working with the Divine Feminine Present, Zhou Zhuanjing. Zhou Zhuanjing. And she embodies the unwavering tranquility that exists deep beneath the turbulence of our daily thoughts. She embodies the unwavering tranquility that exists deep beneath the turbulence of our daily thoughts. So I love this, and I'm glad that she kind of showed up, because she's really bringing in that the deep inner peace. This is the kind of peace that it doesn't matter what is going on around you, what kind of chaos is brewing around you, that you always seem to be in the center of the storm, which is the calm spot, right? So let's see what message she has for us. Albert Einstein reportedly said that we cannot solve, let me get some water, I'm actually thirsty. Albert Einstein reportedly said that we cannot solve our problems with the same thinking we used when we created them. This is important. Clarity only comes from clarity. Ooh. There is a peace and calm that exists far beneath the constant banter most of us listen to all day within our minds. Jungian author Clarissa Pinkola Estes calls it the river beneath the river. It's the steady flow of the universal life force that wants us to reach our goal if we can only get still enough to merge with it. I love this part. Wu Wei in the Taoism translates as doing nothing. It's a sacred feminine art of trusting the force of life that exists within all of us. Zhou mastered this spiritual practice by calming her mind and experiencing the still center that's at the eye of every storm. Zhou is a call for us to be still, to do nothing other than shift our awareness, come out of the current state of mind we're in before making any moves or decisions. She reminds us that we only want to take action when what is moving us is the force of love at the heart of everything. You know, last week, that I feel like that was my message, to just be in stillness, and I found myself being in stillness, just quiet in my mind, quiet in myself, and just being, not thinking about what I need to do next. Because what happens when you surrender in the energy of stillness is that things find you easily. You don't have to go finding things. Things will find you. What needs to be done will find you. Your path will show up. The gift will show up. The person will show up. It's quite a miraculous state to be in. And in this society, I mean, now we're being given the opportunity to, because there's less chaos that is, compared to before the virus happened. Right now, we've slowed down a bit, and so we are being asked to continue to step into that space where you can just enjoy the peacefulness of your mind. This kind of happens, and I can hear, for example, people are like, okay, well, I can meditate and get to that point. But for a lot of people, meditation is very hard because they can't seem to get past that mind chatter. And it is hard because they're trying to shut their mind down. You can't shut your mind down. The more you try to, the worse it gets. So then how do you do it? You simply allow that chatter to flow on by. So I kind of see it as clouds. I'm sure you've heard this before, this technique. You envision each thought pattern floating by like a cloud and dissipating. That's all you got to do. Eventually, your mind will come in line with your heart, and you will begin to sense that stillness. And there's no one way of stillness. You will know when you're in stillness when you're there. So how I achieve stillness will not be the same as how you achieve stillness. Only you know how you do that, but you have to allow yourself to go through the busyness, let that busyness flow away or dissipate. And then behind that, just like just like what the Divine Feminine message said, the river beneath the river. When you allow that to happen, you're able to sink down to that river that is more peaceful. So the dragon that you're working with this week is the lilac fire dragon. Look at this. I love how there's two dragons that have that flower energy in there too. So this dragon this dragon is here to transmute the denser energies, the ancestral patterns, the cycles, the karmic cycles that are still, doing this thing and kind of getting in your way. It's here to transmute, and is doing that through the power of divine love. This is not the first time divine love has come up, right? And this is the message from the dragon. Open up to transcendent love and enlightenment. And purity of heart brings peace, hope, and joy. So it's funny, we're talking about the lilac fire. Again, it reminds me of the violet flame. So you can actually ask this applies to every single person, regardless of which card number came in. You can ask the violet flame to come to you. Ask Saint Germain to bring the fire, the violet fire, to come to you and burn away anything that no longer serves you with ease and grace. And because of the 5D energy that we're in, things are happening really quickly. I feel like in the third dimension, I was talking about this with someone, and where in the third dimension things were a little bit slower and grueling, But in the fifth dimension, things are happening really fast. You know, we're clearing things faster, we're healing things faster, so that we can step into the realm of possibilities. So calling Saint Germain, ask him to bring that beautiful violet fire, even the violet silver fire, and to burn away and purify you and transmute anything that needs to be transmuted, anything that might be in your way. So that is our messages for this week. Now let's go ahead and just dive into the meditation. So find a comfortable position. You will not be disturbed in. And taking a deep breath in. With each inhalation, I want you to envision that you're actually breathing in this violet silver divine light. And I see Saint Germain just kind of holding space for all of us, our dragon standing with us, our higher selves awakened within us, our Holy Spirit self awakened within us. We're fully aware and conscious. So with each breath, envision that you're breathing in that violet flame or the violet silver flame, and with each exhalation, you're breathing out anything that is holding you back, anything that is no longer for your highest good. Here's the beauty: you don't have to know what it is that you're breathing out. Just trust that it's coming out, because it's time for you to get it out. It's time for you to release it. Keep breathing. And imagine that there's a thin beaming rim of light that frames you like a full body halo. And imagine it's an energetic golden egg that holds you and protects you by only allowing in what will serve you, and by releasing everything within you that no longer does. Then imagine that the same light is cascading down from the crown of your head to the soles of your feet, reminding you of the clarity you always have access to, and of the safe and wide open spaces within you that you can always claim. Now take a deep breath in, and as you inhale, imagine descending into your heart space. So you can see that ball of light coming down from your head, from your mind, and dropping into your heart space. The heart is not a heart as in the physical organ. The heart is the mediator between the worlds. The heart is where we can meet with what is so much more than us. We can connect instantly to those who have passed, to angels, and to spiritual teachers who want to bless us with their love and wisdom. The heart is the seat of the soul. We can enter the heart and remember that the love we are and the power we hold. Now taking another deep breath in. And as you inhale, know that you are now merging with your soul from within your heart. You are entering the holiest place on earth to merge with the essence of who you are, the soul. Know that there are many ways to hear the soul, through vision, through voice, and through pure emotions. Pay attention to how you feel as you begin to ask the questions. I'm about to introduce. These questions are from the Divine Mother, the Divine Feminine cards, and the Divine Feminine Mentor. Your Divine Feminine Mentor would like for you to contemplate on these questions and be open to receiving the answers from the place of your heart. I want you to be curious about these questions. Curiosity is a form of compassion. And the soul always leaves you feeling expansive, even if you hear something that scares you. If you feel constricted, kiss your ego goodbye. The ego lives in linear time. It is useful for grocery shopping and making sure your kids get picked up after school, for the mundane things. But the ego doesn't serve us if it's loudly demanding we follow fear rather than love. So gently, lovingly, just let the soul announce itself. The soul lives in Kairos time, or soul time, divine time. The soul doesn't give a hot damn when we do what we've come here to do, or what exactly it is that we're here to do. The soul cares infinitely, though, about the energy in which we do everything. The frequency of love is what transforms. And this is the soul's only concern. Now, taking a deep breath in. And as you inhale, give gratitude. Give gratitude for being in this place, for the answers that will be coming in, for the answers that you might hear, feel, or witness. Keep breathing. If you are drawn to card number 2, these are the questions to contemplate on this week. What is the truest statement I can say about who I am? As you're listening to these questions, remember to open up and allow the answers to flow in. What is the truest statement I can say about who I am? If you are drawn to card number 2, here is your question to ponder on this week. Are my current actions motivated by love? Are my current actions motivated by love? And if you're drawn to card number 3, this is the question to ponder upon this week. Enter the heart and ask to experience stillness. You're being asked to enter the heart space. Well, right now, ask to experience stillness. Taking a deep breath in and out. And know that the answers, if you don't get anything through the meditation, be open to receiving also the answers in the physical world, in your physical reality. It might be that you turn on the radio and then the answer comes in a form of a song, or in a form of someone saying something, or you go on Facebook and someone posts something that is exactly the answer to your question. Be open to the answer, not only in the spiritual realm, but also in the physical realm. Now here are your mantras. So if you were drawn to card number 1, this is your mantra for this week. I am my authentic self in all circumstances. If you were drawn to card number 1, this is your mantra for this week. I am in service of divine love. I move the way love asks me to move. I am in service of divine love. I move the way love asks me to move. And just to remind you again, the question to ponder upon if you're drawn to card number 1 is, are my current actions motivated by love? And your mantra is, I am in service of divine love, and I move the way love asks me to move. If you're drawn to card number 2, the questions to ponder upon are, what is the truest statement I can say about who I am? And your mantra is, I am my authentic self in all circumstances. I am my authentic self in all circumstances. And if you're drawn to card number 3, your soul questions to ponder on for this week. You're being asked to enter your heart and asked to experience stillness. So make sure you drop into that heart space and then ask to experience stillness. Make sure your higher self is within you. And your mantra is this: I am peace. When my mind is clear, the way is clear. I am peace. When my mind is clear, the way is clear. Beautiful. Taking a deep breath in here. Keep breathing. Give gratitude for the answers you have heard, felt, or witnessed. Give gratitude even if all you got was a few moments of absolute stillness. Know that the answers will always show up. The answers will come. They always do. They just might arrive in an unexpected way. Be open to all the forms in which your answers might show up. What we bring to the heart arrives. What we ask from the heart gets answered. What we seek inwardly, we find. And when you open your eyes, come into this physical reality, know that you are now seeing out with the eyes of the soul, of your soul. Know that you are now moving the way love would have you move. Know that you are seeing with the heart, which perceives the unseen just as clearly as the light of day. Taking a deep breath in, and when you're ready, open your eyes. Thank you so much for receiving this week's energy forecast, receiving your messages from the Divine Feminine Embodiment, as well as accepting to work with the powerful dragons this week. And remember to find stillness wherever you are. Finding stillness is accessible for all of us. Know that you are safe and secure in your gifts and in your voice, and in stepping in your power and in doing your work. So many blessings to you. And until next time, have a beautiful week.